the leader of the UK Labour Party, Kier Starmer.
Tonight, Britain's political leaders in their final day of campaigning before Thursday's election. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak asking voters to give his Conservative Party another chance after 14 years in power.
Your vote will make a difference. Lots of people want to say this is a foregone conclusion. Analysis shows that's not true.
But with prices high and growth low, polls find the public in an unforgiving mood, ready to punish the Conservatives.
They want to see the Conservatives maybe get what they deserve after behaving so badly.
And hand a potentially historic landslide victory to the centre-left Labour Party.
Thank you.
Labour's Kier Starmer now poised to become Britain's next Prime Minister and the leader of America's closest ally on the world stage.
We've now had 14 years of chaos, of division and failure, and the choice tomorrow is to bring that to an end, to turn the page and start to rebuild with Labour.
A former prosecutor, Starmer is a political centrist whose policies and politics align with President Biden's. But next year, he may be dealing with a second-term Donald Trump, who's threatened to pull the U.S. out of NATO and cut support for Ukraine. Does Kier Starmer have what it takes to stand up to Donald Trump on the world stage?
I think Kier Starmer will stand up for what he believes in. When it comes to foreign policy, our support for NATO is the cornerstone of that.
The UK has voted out.
A Labour victory would end the chaotic chapter in British politics that began in 2016 with the Brexit referendum, when the UK crashed out of the European Union.
I think the country requires fresh leadership.
Since then, 4 Conservative prime ministers have resigned one after another, including Boris Johnson, who was forced out after a series of scandals. Sunak took office as a history maker, Britain's youngest prime minister in 200 years, and the first person of colour to lead the former imperial power. He promised to restore stability, but he couldn't turn his party's fortunes around. And after a campaign launched in the pouring rain, Sunak may make history again as the first prime minister to lose their own seat. We headed to the West London constituency of Kensington and Bayswater, home to one of the country's closest races. The Conservatives won the last election here by just 150 votes. Now, Labour candidate Joe Powell is hoping to flip the seat.
We think this is going to be very close, whatever the national polls show. This is not a traditional Labour seat.
Do you think people are excited about voting for Labour, or they just want to punish the Conservatives at this point?
Well, I think a lot of people are very excited about voting for Labour because they're desperate for change in the country.
And Raf joins us now from Downing Street. Raf, what is the process here? When will we know results? And if the Labour Party wins, how soon would a new Prime Minister take office?
So, Ellison, polls close here 10 p.m. local time, 5 p.m. Eastern. We will get exit polls after that, and that should give us a pretty clear sense of where this election is going. What is really interesting is, unlike the U.S., here in the U.K., there's no transition period between the election and a new government taking office. So, assuming Kier Starmer and the Labour Party win, Starmer will give his victory speech Thursday night. He will sleep for a couple of hours. He will head to Buckingham Palace just down the road to see King Charles, and then he will come here to Downing Street. He'll walk through that famous black door, and he will immediately take up his post as the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.